Hello everyone. I just want to quickly show off some of the features in this neat little program that basically allows you to do a lot of manipulation of installation files in Command Modern Air Naval Operations. So I'm going to go ahead and compile it real quick, and it brings you to this pretty simple looking screen here. So basically this tool is designed to make it easy to make adjustments to an inst file, create your own, save your own, adapt from one database to another. So to run this, it's pretty simple. If you wanted to build one from base, you could just click New Inst File like that, and it's going to clear everything out. If you want to open an existing one, you can click here. If you want to go ahead and save it, you can click here. So what I'm going to do is just demonstrate kind of its flexibility real quickly. So I'm going to open this little file real quickly. This is the Enterprise CSG back from 2000, and you'll notice that it automatically populates the list with all the information that's built inside that inst file. So let's go ahead and do a quick little change here. Now I have a ship here. I have this 1077, and I want to replace it with an Oliver Hazard Perry. So I could go ahead and, for example, look up the Underwood. There we go, 1079 looks pretty good. Looks like we already have the Underwood, but we're just going to add a couple more. So what I could do is I could double click, and I could just change this number real quickly like that. Or I could come down here and actually use these neat little tools to actually swap. The one on the left here is basically going to swap everything up here. The one on the right is going to swap everything down here. So for example, if I wanted to swap that 1077 and I wanted a 1079, I could click this button, and you'll notice it instantaneously changed this one for us. Now if we were a little bit more crafty here, like also if you notice if I hold my mouse over everything, it'll tell you what the DBID corresponds to in this particular case. So if I wanted to, I could come down here where it has the Los Angeles class and say, hey, maybe I wanted a Seawolf instead. Go ahead and look up a Seawolf, let's say a 259. So I can do the exact same process down here. I'm sorry, 277, replace the 259, and bam, I've just replaced both of those submarines with that. Now, what if your particular vessel has some kind of aircraft? Well, that's not a problem. First of all, we can come down here, we can double click on any of these aircraft, and then we can go ahead and edit it by clicking that button there, and that allows us to change the name, the DBID, and the parent unit. Now the parent unit is pretty scary looking, but the good news is if you click on one of the units at the top and then click on say edit, it'll automatically open up one of those units for that particular one. So if I click right here and I click add new, like I'm going to put an F-18 on here, it'll copy that parent unit down here to make your life a little bit simpler. And likewise, if I click here and press edit, it's going to remember what the correct parent unit is from up top as well. So if you wanted to add a brand new ship, that's really easy to do. You can come up here and click add new. The other option you can do too, for some reason we had, let's see, an AOR. Let's go ahead and press that. We could click that. We could hit add one and then go ahead and put in our details. Create some crazy goofiness there. So let's see, longitude, we'll put this in that other group, Ike CSG. Longitude, we'll make this ship a little on the lost side here. 22, altitude 000, commit changes. And just like that, I've added it. Now if I want to get rid of it, I just click it and press remove. So what I'll do instead is I'll come up here and remove that one. So you'll notice there's another little option up here in the top right, which allows us to choose what database we're operating in. This is basically going to do two things. The first thing it's going to do is just going to control what library we're looking files up on. So right now, if I hold my mouse over 1640, it tells me it's a Nimitz, which it's supposed to be. If I switch to the Cold War database and do the same thing, it tells me I'm now the Wrangel. So you got to kind of watch out for that, but I'll show you why that is wonderfully useful. So let me go ahead and create a fake little instrument file here. We're going to go ahead and grab ourselves a single unit airfield. Got to make this box a little bit bigger, I think, a little later on. We're going to go ahead and add this one real quickly. We're going to add one of these. That's not going to work for us because it doesn't have longitude and latitude and all that other stuff, but again, we can always just come right back into it. We'll say 4242.000. Okay, a little better. So we have the single unit airfield. So if we're in our current database, for the modern database, that's going to be that particular unit. If I were to switch to the Cold War database, guess what? It becomes a radar. Not to give up just yet though, because if you actually take a look here, you'll notice that I can go ahead and search, and it's going to search it for me. Now, if I use the same ID here, you'll notice that the DBID for the Cold War is actually 400. So there's nothing stopping me from coming down here and doing commit changes, and now my airfield registers as an airfield. Of course, if we scoot back to the modern database, you'll recognize this become an SA-10B. So that's absolutely the absolute basics to this. To save your files, you're just going to come up here and click the Save button. Go ahead and give it a creative name. Then press the Enter key and you're all set, and then you can just copy and paste that wherever you need to. Where do I want to go from here? I want to basically start adding some other features, maybe like a dynamic airport builder, maybe like a SAM battalion builder, things along those lines, just to give myself a little bit of control. There's also the potential of needing to add things like hosted ships, magazines, and all those kind of functions that are going to be a little involved and take a little bit of time to develop. Enjoy.